Let's now take a close look at how this iterative code works on Python Tutor. So let's visualize this code on Python Tutor. Here, remember, the 0th item is a string. We click on Visualize Execution, and let us see how this works. We define the function, and we're ready to call it and print whatever it produces. So the list is this. When we click on Next, we are calling the hasOdd function with this list. Now, we have seen this exploded or non-default view of the list, and as you can see, it quickly becomes a little bit difficult to read. So let me click on Edit this code, and for the purposes of this visualization, let me use the default visualization. If you are ever worried about what is actually happening, you can always go back to the non-default visualization. So let us proceed with the visualization. This time we have this more compact representation of the list data. Remember, its 0th item is a string. So we come into this body of the function, and here we have this for loop, this iteration. So for each item in data, when we click on Next, the first item in this data is the item at index 0. So when we click on Next, item will be 0. I would like you on your own to try this visualization out in the non-default visualization. I want you to observe that this variable item will be referring to the same string object that is at index 0 in the list. Although here it looks like there are 2 copies of this string object, in reality there is only one string object, and you will have 2 arrows referring to the same object. But by now I want you to get comfortable with this shorthand representation. So we're checking if this item is of type int, and if so, is it an odd integer? Well, it is not of type int, it has type string. So when we click on Next, this if condition will not be true, and so we would want to continue to the next statement. But in this case, the next statement is outside the loop. So pay very close attention to where the red arrow goes when I click on Next. The red arrow jumps back to line 2 because now we want to examine the next item in this sequence. Remember, if the item is not an odd integer, we want to continue to the next item in the list, and that is exactly what we're seeing in this visualization. We were at this item, which was not an integer, and when we click on Next, we continue to the next item. So the next item in this list is of course the float 0.0. That also is not of type int, so there again for the float we don't bother calculating its remainder, we simply proceed to the next item. And this last item in the list is a negative integer, it's the integer -1. So that does have type int, and by the way its remainder mod 2 is a non-zero value, so we will come into this if condition and we will return true, and of course that's the value the function returns, and so that's the value that will get printed finally when we come to line 7. So this is the behavior of a simple for loop. I encourage you again to try this yourself. It's not enough to simply watch me clicking next in a video. Do try this yourself and make sure you can understand the control flow. It's very simple. We're examining every item in the list. When there are no more items, you will find that control comes to line 5. You didn't see that in this list because we did find an odd integer. So try this again, edit this code, and replace this list with one that has no odd integers in it, and you will find that this function returns false.